Hi everyone, this is Ellie. The Awakening event is now out. The main story, minigame, and the farming stages will be permanent, but the event shops will be limited time, and also the amount of tickets needed to unlock the story stages will also go up after the event, and so please check the event duration in your time zone. And I'll also have the link to the official patch notes announcement in the description. So first, if we head into the event screen here, there are 4 sections. The upper left virtual film is the main story. Now, you will need tickets to unlock the story stages, and these can be obtained through the minigame and the farming stages. The recommended reading order, they actually already give it to you, but it's Alkaid, then Ein or Lars, then Lars or Ein, then Clarence. After Clarence's route, it's also recommended to experience his event SSR Illustra story, and after that you can go to Cael's route, which will be unlocked after completing the other 4 routes. And as previously mentioned, the story is permanent, but the number of tickets needed to unlock the stages will be raised after the event concludes. And so second, if we look at the upper right, leisure time, this is the minigame, and as previously mentioned, it is permanent, so you get 4 daily objectives, and these will reset daily along with the rewards from them. And so I guess we can sort of go through the gameplay. It's basically like the Snake IO thing, where you go around and you just kind of grab these stuff. So if you touch the wall, your snake will die, and if your snake dies, do not revive. You'll be wasting the 2 stamina. You can just hit cancel and then exit, and then go back into the game. And you can do this however many times you want, until you get the 4 objectives. Now, third, the lower right, the theater shop, is pretty obviously the event shop, and of note, this will be limited time. And so there are 3 types of currency. There is no free SR this time. Basically, you just buy whatever you need. Usually the order that I buy and recommend is like the event specific rewards, like the avatar frame, and then these like profile backgrounds, and then the feather of dreams, then tin coins, then skill packs, then your main story drops like these pearl earrings or matcha cookies, and then your ascension materials or the Illustra and Pictura EXP materials if you have like a surplus of ascension mats already. Then, so kind of going off of that, to farm those currency drops, you go to the lower left parts collection. These are the farming stages. These will be permanent content, but they will no longer drop the event shop currency after the event concludes. And so the thing is, currently there is a bug where you're unable to change back to manual after your first clear, and that means that you don't get bonus drops from your illustras. And so if this is happening still, by the time you see this video, please submit a report to customer service. And so basically the recommendation is to first clear everything first, then grind difficulty 3 on the middle 3 stages. So basically you want to avoid the top and the bottom ones because they're less efficient. And as per usual, there are certain illustras that provide bonus drops, and you would check them at the top of the formation page. Unfortunately, I can't pull up that screen right now because of the bug that I just mentioned. Right, and so then if we move on to the gacha, now, per usual, we have the rate of choice function. It's over here. I already used it. If you wish for an SR, that one will be guaranteed in the first 10 pull. If you wish for an SSR, it guarantees that the first event SSR you get is the one you choose. If you want to check the specific rates, they're in the details over here. Of note, they have added a redraw feature, and you can access this through sketch rewards, and it's right here. But basically, you can switch one owned event SSR to one other event SSR, but the redraw is only possible if you've already obtained over 10 event SSRs. But that is a new feature. And so all the comments, following comments made are from a meta and combat standpoint, and the text versions for these Illustra guides are already available in our community Discord server, which, as usual, will be linked in the description. And so first, if we look at Alkaid's, so this is an average single target whose kit provides utility and buffing for the team, and it has a high base attack but relatively low ult damage multiplier. The skill priority is generally 1 before 2, but you'd want to max or raise both. Enlightenment priority is pretty low, as it does have a relatively low ult damage multiplier, and so you can consider feeding enlightenments, but it's not recommended if you're short on resources, and you also may stack additional copies. In terms of the teams, you can consider pairing this with another single target Illustra due to its skill 1, which reduces one enemy's defense, and so likewise this Illustra is better used against boss or single enemies. You can also consider pairing this with another Illustra that has crit rate buffing because of its crit damage buff on skill 2, and you can also consider pairing with other defense down illustras for like kind of more benefit from the skill 1. In general, you would want to put this Illustra in slot 1 for the maximum coverage of the effect of the ult effect buff, which is increase the crit of all Illustras for 2 turns. And then if we look at Clarence's, so this is a solid to strong AoE main DPS with some charging utility. It has relatively low base stats, but it has a good ult damage multiplier, and it's also very comfortable on auto. And for skill priority, you'd want to max both. I guess if you are short on resources at the moment, you may, if you're reliant on this Illustra to do damage, you may do 1 before 2. If you have sufficient damage at the moment, then you may do 2 before 1, but overall you should max both. Enlightenment priority is mid or mid to high. There is a slightly higher priority if you're an auto-only player. You can consider feeding enlightenments, but it's not recommended if you have or are planning to pull higher priority Illustras in the future. It's just not as meta as some of the ones that will be released further on, later during the year. I don't want to go too much into that. And it is recommended to stack additional copies if you do get those. Team-wise, it's very comfortable on auto. You can sort of just put it into any team for damage, for your dailies or your routine clears, anything like that, and there is no positional preference. And then for Cael's SSR, it is an AoE support that provides team survivability but lacks personal damage or tankiness. Honestly, overall, I don't recommend you level or build this Illustra unless you have less than 5 SSRs. In terms of skill priority, none, honestly, but I guess you can consider raising the skills if you need the additional survivability. Enlightenment priority is very low. Not recommended to feed enlightenments. You may stack additional copies just because the ult effect does increase with levels. As for the team comp, you can consider pairing this with other Illustras that slow or freeze enemy ult gain rate. So for example, Clarence's Cage of Guilt, and you would want to put this Illustra in slot 3 in most cases for the ult effect, which is the ult gauge reduction. About the Picturas, as mentioned in my beginner's guide, the meta is to use initial ult charge increase Picturas and the resonance sets. There are 5 new sets this time. Only Alkaid's is worth pulling for from a combat standpoint because Alkaid's 3-star Pictura is increase initial ult charge and increase Illustra's attack, and the resonance effect is also increase Illustra's attack. And when you would equip this, you would consider using the set on Illustras that have self-charging ability or charges fast inherently, and this Pictura set also performs better in long battles than in short battles. And this is because, if I pull it up here, you will notice that at max level, the initial ult charge gain is 30 versus the other ones without the attack buff here at level 6, their initial ult charge gain is 40. So in general, you are still going to get faster rotations in shorter battles with the other Illustras, and so the attack buff really just mostly comes into effect later on in the battle. The recommendation is to try to pull at least one Alkaid set if you're able to, but there is, kind of a heads up that there are 5 uprated sets in the pool, and so it may be difficult to get the one you want. For personal reference, I pulled, I started off with, I think, at least 26,000 tin coins, and now I'm left with 1,675 just to get one copy of Alkaid set, so, just kind of be wary about that. And to add, the top-up, the Princess Day, and the Pure White Garden sets are still generally better and more versatile, and so when to use this set versus the Eden Reborn set depends on the Illustra equipping it, and so you may want to refer to my Eden Reborn video if you're unsure about when to use that set. And so, last thing before I finish off, currently the Alkaid birthday pool is out. I should say the pool and the outfit is out. Generally, I would not recommend pulling on the birthday banners because you're not guaranteed to get the, to get Alkaid's SSR that you want, and then you're only guaranteed one of his SSRs in the first 3. So you could get 2 other SSRs before you're able to pull him. And also, importantly, the pity from Alkaid's birthday banner is carried over to specifically Alkaid's next birthday banner next year. So do keep that in mind. And so that should be it for this video. Please like and subscribe if you found the video helpful.